That was my fault. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. If there's any written comments or questions from the public, they can be sent by email before or during the meeting to planning.assistant@ektwp.ca. These will be conveyed to us, to the committee for discussion. Thanks, everyone. Can I have a motion for the adoption of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting agenda? Susan, second Linda. Thank you. Any disclosure of preliminary interest or general nature thereof? Okay, thank you. We have a motion for adoption of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting minutes. Were there any errors or omissions? If not, thanks, Tom. Second, Linda. All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Let's see me.
Okay, first on the report, I believe Mr. Bennett is representing the Popplewell property. I know there's quite a bit here, but I'll just highlight a couple little things. That's report B21 2021-19 is the new lot at B105-21 at 820 Kitley line 3. It's the Popplewell property. The application was brought before the Planning Advisory Committee on May 30th. There's a diagram of what was proposed and severed on page 18. At the time, there was to be a scope EIS that's on page 22, and the checklist for the EIS scope is on page 23 and 24. And it was concerning the Regional Conservation Authority and environmental impact study. In order for the township to implement the recommendations of the scope EIS and the building envelope area undertaken with the applicants would need to be entered into the township. Staff are recommending condition 3 be amended to reflect the scope EIS completed by the applicants and its implementation throughout the undertaking. And at our meeting on May 30th, we had recommended the severance and with the subject of 5 conditions. Melissa, did you want to speak on the revised recommended conditions? Oh, sorry. Yeah, please speak on that.
Sure. So as the chair noted, the committee had recommended the preliminary application subject to 5 conditions. The 3rd condition was that a favorable EIS had been completed by the applicant with the Rio Valley Conservation Authority. So as the committee is aware, that's been completed now. And the scoped EIS has identified a specific building envelope area and provided some recommended best practices for the applicant to be mindful of respect to the significant woodlands, it's woodlands in this case. So it was brought back to the committee just to make an amendment to that condition, that condition 3 be amended from requiring an EIS to just implementing the EIS through an undertaking with the applicant and the township. None of the other conditions that the committee had recommended on a preliminary basis were changed. So that's why it's been brought back to the committee for your consideration.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. Mr. Bennett, I believe you're on. Is there any comment or questions before I put it to the committee? Or maybe your mic is still muted.
Unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
That just when I became a panelist, different icons came up. Yes, no real comments. We read through the recommendations from the committee, and the applicant is pretty much in agreement with all of the conditions that you stipulate within there. It sounds pretty cut and dried the way you put the report together.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the committee members? If not, then, yes, Mark.
Yeah, I was just gonna go ahead and move it the second time that we approve this. It appears as though the EIS is fine. There's no issues apparently with the person about where they could put a house in the future. So I think we liked it before, so nothing's changed, except they've moved along the continuum. So I'll move that we approve this for the last time.
Okay, second, okay, Tom, thank you very much. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Melissa, you wanna?
Certainly, so these minutes will go to the next council meeting, which will be early September, second Monday, sort of date back in.
I believe it's September 13th.
September 13th. Okay. So the minutes will go to council for September 13th, and after which we'll send the comments to the county, and they will schedule the actual hearing of the decision on the severance. So you'll receive notification in the mail from the county on that hearing date. Then they'll hold a hearing and make a decision, and then we'll work through those the conditions that have been recommended.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the next report, which is B 2021-18, request to deem merge lots 11 and 12, lots 9 and 10, lots 7 and 8, and part lots 4 to 6, block 3, registered plan 95 in Jasper. There's a written request to have these merged. The background behind it is 346 County Road 16. There's currently comprised of two separate lots at 0.165 acres, with the existing house located on 346 County Road 16. Deeming lots 11 and 12 together will improve the lot area and result in one lot having an approximate lot area of 0.33, 120-foot frontage on road frontage on County Road 16. The diagram is on page 32 for all these. Lots 9 and 10, the vacant lots in Center Street, similar, they're two separate lots, 0.165 acres. They want to deem lots 9 and 10 will improve the lot area to 0.33 and have a frontage of 120-foot frontage. The property owner intends to build a dwelling on this lot and has also filed for a minor variance application to seek relief to the required 300 meter setback from the salvage yard, and that's zoning for the north. And then on the lots 7 and 8, part lots 4 and 6, vacant lots, they're similar, they're to be deemed to improve the total area to 0.6 acres. There's the exact length of the frontage on the portion of Center Street is yet to be determined. Public Works is being, Director of Public Works is involved on the Center Street and the road allowance. The property required to have a minimum of 14-foot frontage on the maintained portion of Center Street, to provide for a 10-foot minimum driveway width, plus a 4-foot side yard setback for the driveway as required by a zoning bylaw. Depending on the results of the survey, this may require a minor extension of the maintained portion of the allowance, which will require council occurrence to be at the expense of the property owner. Similarly, the owner intends to build a dwelling on this lot and has filed for a minor variance application setback for the 300 meter MS zoning for the salvage for the new dwelling. Melissa, do you want to speak on these deeming bylaws or the for the council has been prepared?
Sure. So as some of the members of the committee are aware, Councillor Linton and Councillor Freddie John, this report did go to council last night with the deeming bylaws. So this is more of an information for the committee, and council did approve and did give 3 readings to the deeming bylaws last night. So the notification of that deeming has gone to the property owner today. There is a 20-day appeal period on that. If no appeals are received, the property owner is the only one who gets notice of the deeming, which is odd because they're the one that requested the deeming, but that's how it reads. So if no appeals are received, then the deeming will get registered and those lots will be all merged into one lot. And then we'll work on the Center Street length and just confirm that it has frontage on that. And there is 2 filed minor variance applications that we've already received. They will proceed after the deeming has been registered and the lots have been merged into one whole lot. So that's the update on the deeming.
Okay, thanks. Any questions or comments? I guess the only from my own knowledge is, you had mentioned only the owner gets the deeming part?
Yes, that's.
Is that something that's in the Planning Act,
That's-
provincial policy, or is this?
It's in the Planning Act regulation that the notification of the deeming, it just goes to the registered property owner. I guess that's in the event that council wishes to deem properties without the owner knowing. As in the case of the village of Lynn, the entire village has been deemed. So it wasn't at the request of a property owner, it was done years ago where the whole village was deemed, so that all those individual lots have merged. So I guess if council wanted to actually deem the village of Jasper, they could do so, but then we would have to notify the individual property owners and provide them an opportunity to appeal that deeming.
Okay, the, just as a comment is in here that Melissa and I have spoken on this. And there was a number of comments and suggestions that Melissa and I have spoken about and hopefully will be addressed or have been addressed. So, Mark, I see your hand up, so.
Yeah, I first I'd read the council package, so I saw that going on last night. So I assume that merging these lots, that they're okay for both septic and well for the two new houses that are gonna go in there. I mean, they're obviously smaller than the normal lot size in a rural lot, but because this is in a hamlet, those rules aren't in effect. So I assume from a survey, and is a survey required as part of this deeming, or is there already a survey on these lots to begin with? Or will that be part of a condition that has to be filled out before there's a house built and things done? Just curious.
Do you want me to speak?
Yeah. I probably
Okay,
can.
sure, I
Go ahead.
can speak to that.
Yeah.
So no, a survey won't be required. The lots are in the village plan, so they do already have a legal description, so there isn't a requirement for a survey. And Center Street itself is being surveyed, so we'll at least know where the front property line exactly is.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, what was the other part of the question?
Or septic tank.
Oh, sorry, septic, so yeah, sorry. So yeah, the health unit will be circulated with the minor variance applications to comment on, and they will have to receive a septic permit, obviously, for the new dwelling. So they are small lots, but they were all individual, very small lots, which technically they could have built on if they could have achieved setbacks or variances or whatever. So it is an improvement. They're still quite small. They will need to be able to fit that on there. So hopefully, I did suggest to the applicant they pre-consult with the health unit. I don't know if they did that, but either way, they'll have to get a permit from them.
Well, it'll be good to see them cleaned up and built on. It's just too bad that out on County Road 17, the bare empty lots there from the old service station and whatnot, something can't someday be done with those. They are an eyesore. Yeah, it's good that these are done.
Thanks. I guess we'll just do this as correspondence. There's nothing that we need to.
We can, as part of the correspondence, you can receive the staff reports and the correspondence.
Because this is more of a information. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next we'll go on to the report P 2021-20 is a draft plan of subdivision, the Vandenbergen subdivision. It's county file number 08-T-2211. Concession 1 part lot 29. It's vacant lands on County Road 2. In this case here, there's an attached memorandum on page 34 dated August 11th, providing the background information of the filed drafts subdivision. It is to create 8 additional lots on the property. There's also a notice of complete application received by the township on July 20th, which is attached on page 37. And then There's also another issuing draft approval of the proposed plan of subdivision, which is attachment 2, which is on page 41. And the purpose of the application, as I was saying, is to seek approval for the division of the land into 8 new residential lots and 1 public street to accommodate a residential plan of subdivision. Subject lands are proposed to be developed with single detached dwellings on the basis of partial services, municipal water and private sewage disposal systems. Access to each lot is proposed by the new internal public street. The supporting application materials refer to the proposed plan of subdivision as a Vanderveer subdivision. Melissa, do you want to update the committee on the planning policy context and the next steps?
Sure. So the Novatech did do a memorandum to update on the process and the application. Because we did receive the notification from the county that they've been in receipt of a complete application. They've indicated that the property is it's residentially designated in our official plan, so it doesn't need an official plan amendment. And it's zoned RE and R1. Novatech Engineering is taking the lead on the peer review of the reports and engineering review that needs to be done as the subdivision. So once that peer review has been completed, I did consult with the applicant and they agreed that would be preferable that be done ahead of time before we schedule a public meeting. So once those comments come back, we will schedule a public meeting before council to receive any comments from the public. The township will circulate the notice to the agencies and to the neighbors. And then after the public meeting, it will likely come to the committee so the county is the approval authority on the subdivision. They're the ones who will be saying yes or no to the subdivision, but it's up to the municipality to provide the conditions of any approval. So it will come back to the committee for consideration of a number of conditions on the subdivision. I'm not sure what those will be yet, but we'll go from here and it'll be coming back. Maybe the public meeting may go September or October, just depending on the timing of that peer review. So hopefully it gets moved along this fall.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. Is there, yes, Tom?
Just had a quick question. I think you kind of just answered it, Melissa, but so the plan of subdivisions, just so I'm clear, they go through the county first? Like this whole process seems to have went through the counties to council to us.
Yes, so it's so they apply to the county for the subdivision and the county is the approval authority on the subdivision. It's not up to the municipality. Our role in the municipality is to provide draft conditions on the subdivision. So so the staff report went to council and copied to the planning advisory committee to make you aware that that's been received by the county. And that council will be required to hold it. The county is asking us to hold their public meeting basically on the subdivision and receive public comments on it. So then we will send those to them. And then we will come up with our own conditions that we would be requesting on the subdivision.
Okay, thank you. I was just trying to understand the process, that's all.
The process a little bit different than the severance process, yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Just, I've been working on some information over the last 3 months on plan of subdivisions, who approves them, conditions in another county and municipality. So fortunately, over the last 3 months, I've learned a lot about plan of subdivisions and approvals, so yes, so we should have it. If anybody, I guess, has any conditions or thoughts at that particular time of our meeting, and further from comments that may come in from the public meeting, that's a good opportunity for us to address that. Mark?
Yeah, thank you. Just following along Tom's question, they could have come to the township first to do a draft plan of subdivision. They chose to go to the county, correct, Melissa?
They did pre-consult with the township on a preliminary basis. So they did, it's been kind of going on for about a year. They've pre-consulted with staff and with county staff on the subdivision. And then they advised of the reports and the background studies that the county would require for approval. And then they formally filed it with the county to proceed. So based on those comments, So from the preliminary review, it was a supportable application. They actually waited till our lot sizes got reduced because they wanted to have more lots. So they kind of held off until that was in place and then they filed it.
Okay, thank you. I'm just thinking back to that subdivision west of Brockville in the township that's now been sold and will maybe get built on. Finally, I sat through the council meetings as the audience when the developer was going through the development of the draft plan of subdivision. And having done a subdivision myself, I know the process, and I watched that as a very painful process. Now it's much bigger property, obviously a lot more lots. And the council of the day were sitting there trying to design a subdivision, which was something none of them knew anything about. Probably much more efficient this way that it's gone to counties, and it's pretty simple anyhow. And obviously we will see this again as the committee and the township council will see it again for final approval. So, and obviously the EIS deals with any tree issues since it's already all forested. So don't know how much dirt there is there for septic, but that's always a challenge along the riverfront.
Yes. So again, can we put this in as correspondence? We put this in as correspondence because there'll be another follow-up in. You were thinking?
When it moved next.
Yeah. Couple months, probably?
Just depending on when the peer reviews are completed, I believe they were aiming for maybe late September, October date to schedule the public meeting. We do have to give a 20-day notice, I believe. I don't know if it's notification of public meetings. So depending on when that's completed, there is a notification period. So the timing will depend on that.
And let's hope, Mark, your comment will probably be addressed maybe beforehand, and if not, we could probably address it at our committee meeting. So, thank you. Now we'll move on to correspondence, and it's 8.1. A proposed approach to update the project methodology guideline, June 23rd of 2021. Comments accepted until September 21st of 21. And it's update to the projection methodology guidelines. Everybody's had an opportunity to read that. Is there anything you'd like to add or comment or anything from anybody? Seeing no hands, we'll just move on, and the next one then is the letter from the Ontario Association of Architects, application for site plan approval, July 19th, application for site plan approval. There's a notice of public meeting for zoning bylaw amendment Z03-21 153. County Road 29, concession 10, part lot 3738, Elizabethtown, the Hellier property, July 23rd of 2021. And that probably it was before the committee before. So is there any other business? Okay, seeing none. Our next meeting is Thursday, September 16th at 5 o'clock. And I'd like to thank everybody for having this meeting moved from Thursday to Tuesday to accommodate. Is there any, Melissa, do you know if there's any public questions?
The beauty of Zoom, it makes moving things easy.
No, there's no.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mark. Okay, if seeing nothing and no other business, I'll ask for an adjournment, please. Susan, thank you. Mark, second, thank you. Everybody's in favor. All right, thanks. Everybody stay safe. We'll see
Did you need
next
a?
time. Okay, bye.
Bye all. Stay safe.
Bye.